Hello, family.
Hello, everyone. We are Toast to Love. I am Isaac McJimpsey.
And I am Jackie McJimson. We want to say welcome you to Toast to Love today. We want to toast. Mm.
To your love. Still delicious. Still delicious because it's with you.
Listen, family, we missed you a little bit last week, but we do want to touch base with you. We went to Asheville
Yes.
and
Go
spent
ahead.
Valentine's weekend with the travel club. It was absolutely amazing. I
Yeah.
think we had a fantastic time. We met a lot of great people, and we really got to relax a little bit. It was
Yes.
wonderful. What do you think, Isaac?
Yeah. Real relaxing. Shout out to Tiffany Peoples and Carlos Peoples with the travel group. They did an excellent job. Very giving people. Gave us a chance to reprieve and not
Oh
be
yeah.
doing anything and just enjoy each other. I just want to say this: it's always good to hang out with good people. Ernest Fuller made the comment years ago: healthy couples travel in packs. That's definitely a healthy group of people,
Mm,
healthy group of couples to
exactly.
hang out with, and we didn't have to do a lot.
No, we did nothing, but we were able to share
Hmm.
some with the couples, and we had a really good time. Listen, this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, it's going to be the first 1 year anniversary for the Fly Trap. So we're
That's
going to
right.
be alive in Greenville at
Modern cigar.
the Modern Cigar.
That's
So
right.
if you're up and available and you're out and about and want to stop in and say hello, we'd love to see you. We're gonna go live at 8:30
Eight
from the
30.
Modern Cigar in Greenville. Now the Fly Trap is for married and single people. We do that in conjunction with Ralph Sweeney.
That's
He's
right.
one of our partners. We love him to pieces. They have a really great show on Tuesday nights. If you have not tuned in, something great to stop and take a listen to on Tuesday nights at the Fly Trap.
Most definitely. And, Jackie mentioned, the fly trap. We talk about relationships. We come from every perspective. We talk about how to date. He speaks from a single guy's perspective. Of course, I speak from someone that's been married a long
Happily.
time and happily married. Yes, happily married. So you get a unique perspective. There's a tension there on purpose. So we encourage you to just check us out this week, be a 1 year anniversary
That's
of doing the
right.
show, and we'll have some fun. We'll talk relationship, and of course, we'll get down and have some fun.
Look, hopefully, if you guys get a chance, inbox us. We can give you some more information. Secondly, for the travel group, we're taking
Right.
another trip in June, June the 3rd through the 5th. We're going to Savannah, Georgia,
Yes.
and it's going to perfectly planned out. They've got the prices and everything. If you're interested, it is for married couples and couples that are seriously dating.
Right.
Inbox us and let us know. You can either inbox me at Jackie McJimsey or inbox Isaac at Isaac McJimsey. We'll be in Savannah, Georgia, staying at the Courtyard Marriott downtown. Beautiful hotel. And we're going to have a white party. So we're excited about that.
Hey, family, you'll notice we do a lot of work with singles, married folk. We do the Enneagram so you can find out about yourself. It is we're very purposeful with that. We're intentional. We don't feel threatened by singles. How will singles get an example
That's
of
right.
what marriage looks like? How will single folks know what healthy relationships look like? So we want to encourage them. Many people want to get married. They want to be in a healthy relationship. And so many years ago, you and I were single.
That's right.
So,
It
we
wasn't easy then, and it's not easy
easy now.
now.
So it's always work. Family, I just want to make this announcement before we dive into the material of what we have this week is doing the Enneagram. Jackie and I are very passionate about counseling and coaching.
That's right.
And this weekend we did some coaching, counseling. We always want to stay in our roots. Our roots are one-on-one with people, one-on-one with couples, one-on-one in relationships, sitting across the table, also maybe getting on Zoom and just talking and having a discussion about what's going on in a person's life or in their relationship. So we don't ever want to lose roots of that. We love to get online, but the real work is done one-on-one,
That's
I
right.
think. And so hit us in our inbox. We have our Facebook page which is marriage 360. Also our website. Hit us if you want to take the Enneagram. We now know more information about the Enneagram than we ever knew. We are Enneagramologists, is what
We're working on it.
We're working on it. Matter of fact, we're going to perfect some more certification and continue to evolve. We're never going to stop learning. You say, why would a couple that's been together 30 plus years continue to read books, study? Because we want to have a healthy marriage. We want to have healthy relationships, and we're never going to stop learning. And
not only that, we want you guys to have healthy marriages and healthy relationships. It's so easy. We've learned that it's so easy to be roommates with someone, to live in a house with somebody and not have conversation. And what that does to your family, what that does to you, what that does to your community is devastating at times. So it's very important to us that you guys get this information, and that we are definitely going to be working with you guys to make it real for you.
That's right. Shout out to Miss Layla. Hey, Layla, we've been missing you on Tuesday nights. I think you done broke free and you're back on Facebook. So shout out to you. We'll be an hour or so away from Jacksonville. So hope to see you in June. Also, we got Miss Anna on. Definitely would love to see you down there, sis. And Miss Reby out of Texas.
Oh, she is in Dallas, Texas now.
That's right. Definitely will get you information on the couples retreat. So we want to dive into the information. We've been reading a book, and it's I'm gonna share here. We're building it while we fly. I want to share. So we're reading a book called the Stages of Love. Mm-hmm. And there's 5 stages, but it's the cycles of love. And we definitely want to, let's see if I can upload this. Be patient with us while we do this. And let me share again. Just share this with you. Some information we've been reading. We just think is very, very important to relationships. Let's see if we can get this part on. And I want to definitely give reference to Linda Carroll. It's the book we're reading. It's called Love Cycles, and it's got 5 stages to it. We definitely want to give credit to her. She's a therapist out of the Oregon area. She wrote this book years ago, and it's called Love Cycles. Love happens in cycles, and there's stages to it, and it's 5 essential stages. There's many material out there about the stages of love. We've talked about it. Gottman, who we've been trained through, has some material that they discuss about stages, and a lot of it's similar, but we particularly are reading this book, and we find it to be very helpful. So we're going to start with those stages. And the first stage is the merge, where you merge together. And we often call it limerence. Yeah. That's when you're falling in love. That's when hopefully you stay in that stage, or some of the effects of that stage. We posted a picture on Facebook, and I put in there, I could do this all day. And basically, just I could look at Jackie all day. I could do that all day. And it's when you've been in love and when you've been through some things, then you have that look, and you're thankful, you're grateful, you're appreciative. Right. And so that was the basis of the look. A couple of hours preceding that, we had a lot going on. It was a busy day, but you got to take those moments to give that look and appreciate. And so, but the merging of 2 people happens in that stage. And
that is, we kind of talked about it on our last live. We didn't go live last week because we had the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But what we were talking about was falling in love, and how falling in love what effects it has on you when you begin to fall in love. Mm-hmm. So, what we want to share with you as you begin to merge together, that's that beautiful time in love. That's that hallmark phase.
That's right.
Well, here again, we did talk about that a lot. So what was the second stage?
Is doubt and denial.
Doubt and denial. And so we're gonna go into that a little bit. What is doubt and denial in love, Isaac?
Doubt and denial. So you're in limerence, and then as you begin to get out of limerence can last 2 to 3 years,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of physiological. It's a lot of hormones that are going on. Then you're attracted to the person. You really you like what you see, and you like everything they do.
They can do no wrong.
Do no wrong. Walk on water. They're the thing you think about when you wake up. They're the thing you think about when you go. The person you think about when you go to sleep.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when we're going to doubt and denial, which is going to be the second phase of love, that's when things can sometimes you're going, is this a person for me? Because right now I kind of want to hang out with my friends sometimes. Am I sure that this is the way I want to go?
They're not perfect anymore. Their jokes aren't funny as they used to be. And, you don't want to spend as much time with them. You may have had issues arise. You're not sure if you can trust the person. You're not sure if, this is the person you want to have a long lasting relationship with. And we all experience that after we get out of limerence. We like, hey, do I want to commit wholeheartedly full time to this person for a long life relationship? And that's normal. The world would tell you, once you have any amount of doubt, then it's over. It's finished. But we all experience that in relationships. And so we have doubt and denial. In this phase, you may start to get a little critical. You start to nitpick and find the small things in a relationship that irritate you.
Yeah, before when he would smack you on the behind, it was cute, and you thought that was something special. Now it's like you kind of hit me hard. I don't want you touching me like that. So these things can begin to creep in and cause doubt.
Right.
And that's something that, hey, that's when you got to begin, family, to pull closer, because it's the devil. It's those small foxes is trying to destroy the vine.
That's right.
That God allowed us to fall in love. He allowed the love part, that time of hallmark, so that because he needs for us to be attracted to one another. He needs for us to come together, because we would be nobody in the world if we didn't meet people that we loved and wanted to be with and fell in love with.
Right. And then that the first stage, you're building bonds. That hopefully won't be torn down, but inevitably we are not perfect human beings. And because we're not perfect, we're prone to do things that get on each other's last nerve. I know I've been classified as that person. And so, in the denial stage, which you want to move through that stage, which possibly could move you to the stage of disillusionment, where you're disillusioned, where you're disenfranchised. We see with a lot of people coming into our practice with issues, they get stuck in this next stage where they're finding every reason to not be together. They're starting to grow apart. Not only have they found stuff that they don't particularly like about the person, now that becomes the focal point of the relationship.
And that's when it gets dangerous, family. We have got to be careful and got to be cautious and paying attention at this point in time, because what tends to happen here, you may find this is when you really become roommates. You're not having conversations with each other. You're living in the same house and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and we don't even talk. But then you go, why are we even mad? What happened?
That's right. But just shout out to Beverly White. She asked the question, are these steps in chronological order? And I do believe they are, but you can get stuck in a step. You can be together 6 years and be in the second phase, or you can, but usually it does move in this order from merging to denial and doubt to disillusionment. Once you get in the stage of disillusionment, there's storms. Like every relationship has storms, it has troubles, trials, and many of us, we don't know what is ahead in life. There are many things that we can meet in life, and if you're not bonded, then you can get stuck in a phase.
Yeah, and let's say this too, family. Back in the day, when we're talking about courting, we're talking about people coming together. When you were courting, maybe it wasn't that first stage of limerence. Maybe you did not, maybe you were introduced by your parents or friends of yours, and you go, they're going, oh, this is going to be a great guy for you. Oh, he's going to be perfect. You're going to love him. And, you're trying to wait. You're kind of dating because you're trying to wait to see, am I going to like fall for this person? Am I going to get these lovey-dovey wubby feelings for this person? We hope and pray that you have that experience, because it's a great experience to have. But to say that everybody has that experience, I guess it all depends on how you were brought together.
Right.
And, do you feel like you're made to have to be with this person? We do know, we've met couples that have had arranged marriages, and in meeting those couples, they have said that they sometimes did not have that limerence stage. They weren't just falling over head over heels in love. But as they grow to love one, as they continue to walk in love, because they're now, my mom told me this is a good person. My daddy told me this is a good person. He's been good to me. Then you can start that falling in love, but normally those couples would get married first.
So this stage is important. Think about this. When you're in the first stage of the cycle, you're merging. Everything's great. The second stage, you figure, well, this is not a perfect relationship. The third stage, you find out what you can withstand, you can, you find out if there is longevity in the relationship. And I think that's important.
It
is if you only have a half of a picture of somebody, if you only know the good and you don't know what the not so good is, then you really don't know the person. And what we find is people get to a place where they say, hey, I didn't know the person. I didn't really know them as well as I thought. Because if you're only riding in good times,
that's right,
you can't really say you know the person. So the disillusionment stage is very important, because you get to know the person, which hopefully will move you to the fourth stage, where you make a decision. Every couple comes to the fourth stage, and you either make a decision to break up, or you make a decision to forge ahead and make something what I call is new. And that newness is a merging together of two people, the good and the bad, which makes a complete picture. What are your thoughts on that, of just making a decision?
It's funny, because when it comes to that making decision point, because we came to that point in our marriage, I think, and shout out to Layla. Congratulations, Layla. Hopefully we'll get to meet you guys in June in Savannah. So we'll be looking out for you. But when we came to that point in our marriage, and where we needed to, what are we going to do? Because this is just getting a little crazy. We don't want to not be together. We want to be together. We want to stay together. How do we do this? And that's when we started to seek out marriage conferences, retreats, getting around strong marriages.
Mentors.
How do you do it? Mentors, coaching. We did it. We did it all, and it all worked. Not only for the betterment of he and I's relationship, for the betterment of our children and of our family. Because whenever a marriage dissolves, we often talk about ties and bonds.
Right.
We talk about soul ties.
Yep.
We talk about soul ties. But they're ties that are not attached to your soul, like the ties that I may have with my nieces and nephews.
That's right.
And the way that they look at our marriage and look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
What does it do to them to see that dissolve? Does that hold them back?
Right.
Does that make them want to say, hey, this is not going to be for me because I don't want to have this trouble? We have to be very cautious and careful. And mind you, family, if you're in a situation or a relationship where you're being verbally assassinated, where you being abused, where you're being hit, or you don't feel safe, get out of that situation.
Right.
Nowhere are we saying to stay in a situation like that, because that is not fair and it is not right. If you got to see our live that we did a few weeks ago, we did it on a Tuesday night, and we were doing a teaching on what love is, and then what is anger, and then what is betrayal. And when we went down the list of what those words meant to a room of 20 people,
right,
love stood by itself. Anger and betrayal They kind of crossed over a little bit.
Right. They look similar.
They look similar. And we say that because love does not, just because someone loves you, can someone love you and beat you? Yeah, they can.
Mhm.
It's sad, but they can. What you need to do is define that. Get out of that situation until that person can get help.
You know, Linda Carroll, the author of the book that we're going through, Love Cycles, the 5 essential stages of love, she made a quote that love is a feeling or an emotion, but loving is a skill. And so we want to encourage folks to be loving. It's a skill set, and it has to be developed over time. The emotions of love they're great. I mean, I love Jackie, but now loving her is something that I've had to work on. I had to develop myself. I had to get a better understanding of who she was, and then merge that together so that I could, adequately give her what she needed in this relationship. So loving is a skill, and that's where it takes you from the 4th part to the 5th part. Wholehearted love. So we all know trouble gonna come. Trouble comes in a relationship. So what do? So this week we're not going to go through the last 2 stages of making the decision and wholehearted love. We're going to pin that for next week. But so we're going to just stop right here and talk about some skills that you can develop when trouble comes, because trouble will come.
Before you make that decision, when you get to the stage when you get in that delusionment stage where you're going, you know what, right now, I don't even like you. I don't want to be around you. We're not getting along. What do?
What do? First thing is you got to look at yourself. It's so easy to look at other people and look, particularly in your relationship, blame the other person. It's the other person. What we see many times when couples break up or when a relationship doesn't work, there's a lot of finger pointing. It was the other person. They didn't know how to treat me. They didn't know how to love me and all that. But when a relationship breaks up, it's both parties' responsibility. So what we're encouraging people to do, something that's said in the book and giving reference to Linda Carroll, she says, when trouble happens, when you start to find yourself to be critical and being disillusioned, what is your part in the trouble? And I always ask myself, what am I doing? What could I be doing differently? Jackie and I have a different of perspective. We don't see eye to eye. Maybe I didn't adequately communicate that to her, what I was trying to say. Maybe I did it in the wrong way. Maybe I didn't say something. I was saying it at the wrong time. I don't try to look at what her issue is. I try to look at what was my part in the trouble.
Well, we've talked about this before, and there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
Here again, this is a point in the conversation, in the relationship, where you need to start using the I statements. What are I statements? Hey, I felt like I was being attacked, and I'm not for sure if you knew you were coming off that way.
Right.
But this was the way that I was feeling. So what's going to be I admit my problem,
right?
Admit my fault in this situation. How can we work better together to resolve this?
That's number 1. Number 2 is listening without barriers. Now, what does that mean? Listening without being defensive. A lot of times when you have serious conversations with your significant other, you come already loaded in the conversation with what you're going to say, what your response is. I'm going to counter that point with this point, and I'm going to say this when they say
what
that.
You did wrong. I already know what you did wrong, and you need to fix this.
Right. So what we're encouraging you to do, and what the book says from the book, Love Cycles, is don't listen defensively. Just listen to the person. Really hear what the person is saying. And also hear, I know this pastor used to say this, hear the voice behind the voice. What is the intent of what they're saying? Many times our spouse is not trying to hurt us. They're not trying to do us harm in 99.9% of the situations. But now our perception could be that they're trying to hurt us. That our experience, what we think our experience is that we think they're trying to hurt us, but in many ways they're not trying to do any harm to us. And so we got to come to these conversations not defensive and realizing Jackie loves me, I love her. We just may have different points of view and different perspectives. So number 2 is listen without barriers.
And note this, even if you are feeling very defensive at that moment, take a beat. Stop what you're doing, because you're about to ruin everything you got going on. If you know, that's a song, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was gonna go there. No,
you went there.
You want to stop. Hey, if that's what you need to do it. Stop what you're doing, because you're about to ruin it.
Yeah.
Do not ruin your relationship or the moment to be rude and try to get a point across.
That's right.
You just never win.
And I've been there. I've done that. That's one of the reasons why I got in therapy, and dealt with that, still working to deal with that, because you don't want to lead conversations with emotion. You don't want to lead conversations with manipulation.
That's right.
Those things aren't good. So we encourage you to make sure you realize the person you're dealing with, particularly your spouse, they're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to manipulate you.
Hey, listen, if this video is helping you, please do us a favor, like and share. Share this with people that are that you know, or share this with your family or your friends. We appreciate it. We thank you so much.
All right, the next one. We're moving right along. Hey, key essential skill. It's a skill to accept somebody's difference and learn to collaborate with them. We worked with many people over the years. This 2022 has been an explosive year for us. We got many projects going on, many collaborations. Invariably, we realize that people don't see things the way we see it. We see it from a whole different point of view. How does that relate in your relationship? Jackie is a whole separate person from me. She has her own thoughts, her own beliefs about how things should work, and those things are to be respected. And so I have to accept that. I can't make Jackie be me or make her be anything, any other person. I have to accept her the way she is and how she thinks, and vice versa. And so collaboration happens when we really accept how people are.
At this point, this is when we have a concept that we talk about, agreeing to agree.
Go ahead, girl.
And once we begin to agree, because we don't want to have disagreements in our relationship, but what we have learned to do is how to come together and make that work for the benefit of us both,
right?
So that we both can get our points across. And if you have a hard time having that conversation, hey, inbox us. That's what we're here for. Want to give a shout out to Ralph from the Fly Trap. Ralph Sweeney. Hello, welcome.
Mr. Kingmaker himself. I mean, shout out to him. And just take a second to go to the Fly Trap webpage. You'll see there's a product there called Nourish. He's got several scents and things. We're also partnering with him on some things. And so great concept, great project, from beard balms to creams to oils. I mean, he has it all.
He has family. We have a massage oil called Bebo. Mm-hmm. It is our line, and Mr. Ralph helped us create it. We're so excited, and hopefully, prayerfully, we'll be able to share that with you. But the Bebo is a massage oil, and because I like to massage feet. So if you would ever like to use some of that, we do have that. We will have it up on our page. We don't have it just yet, but it's coming.
Well, it's already out. Some people,
you can contact us if you would like to buy some.
But we're gonna make it accessible online, and so we just wanted to mention that. But thanks and shout out to Ralph for just being a great partner. It is in the comment section, Denori LLC, and if you put that in your search engine on Facebook or even on the World Wide Web, it'll lead you to the prompts, and you'll be able to get some of those products. So we're still making our way through our points, accepting the differences and learning how to collaborate. Another essential skill: learn how to make a new move. Hey, end of 2022, the beginning of 2021, the beginning of 2022, we made a new move. Yeah. We rebranded, and the concept of marriage 360, and it's been great. Things have really taken off, and we're busier beyond comprehension, but also in our relationship. And then, you know what? We hadn't done the very one thing we said we would do every day. Family, we make sure we do that at least once a day. At least one more. Let me get one more. Can I get one more? Can I get one more? You got to make those new moves. Find out where the deficiencies are in your relationship and decide to make a change.
That's right.
Not because it's a new year, not because the calendar says so, but because your relationship dictates it. Never be scared to try something new in your relationship. I think that's been one of our cornerstones. We're always trying to learn. We're always trying to evolve. We're always trying to press the boundaries because we want to become the best versions of ourselves.
That's right.
Don't be scared to make a new move.
It's funny because now what we hear a lot, you hear a lot of people saying, "Hey, I don't like the way you move. How you moving?" So what we're trying to say is do what you need to do. Do something different. Do something fun. Try something new.
And I want to make a point. It's nothing wrong with saying what I was doing wasn't working.
That's right.
Or what I was doing just wasn't sufficient. We have to spiritually, we have to humble ourselves and say, hey, let's just take a reflection and say, hey, it worked up until this point, but moving forward, we need to do something new. And that's how couples sustain. That's how you see couples stay married for 20, 30, 40 years, is because they're willing to admit, hey, what we was doing wasn't working.
And I want to give a shout out to Calvin and Bibi Qualabom. They are in Dallas, Texas now, but they were living here. When I tell you this family, and follow them on Facebook if you're not, because they're forever doing something different. They are out there going bike riding, they're going kayaking, they're going wading in the water. I'm like, girl, I'm exhausted looking. But it also is very invigorating to see, you know what, this is a young couple, and they're doing different things. Sometimes we got to do some different stuff. We can't be afraid to try something new,
right?
Try something different.
All right, y'all, we got two more things to go through. These are skills. We're talking about skills when trouble comes, because when the emotion wanes, you got to have skills for loving. Right. Loving is a skill. Love is an emotion, but loving is a skill. So the next skill we need to do is learn how to nourish our relationship. And I think that's in all aspects. We need to fulfill our relationships. We need to give into it, create value. And we also need to nourish it. There are times when we need to take a break, assess where our spouse is.
That's right. Do date nights, have the conversation, ask the questions. If you don't have any questions, reach out to us, because we have love mapping that we got from the Gottman Institute.
That's right.
And it's just different questions you want to ask, because every 10 years?
Every 5
to 10 years,
yeah.
They say your DNA can change. Things that you like, things that you want to eat, stuff you want to try. Your bucket list may change. Create a list of things that you and your mate want to do together. Feed your relationship. Go to a conference. Go see a couples coach. Find out what other things we can do. What can we be looking at? Those are things that can water your feed your marriage. It's like you feed your body.
And let's say on a daily basis, pray for your spouse. Spiritually, right. Pray for your spouse. Also talk to your spouse. Do a foot rub for your spouse. There's so many ways you can nourish your relationship. And so, if you are lacking ideas, hit us up, inbox us. We'll share with you. There's probably hundreds of ways you can nourish your relationship. So we're to our last point on essential skills of loving your mate is keeping your own tank filled.
Everybody's watched the 5 love languages. We know all about them. Isaac, what's the 5 love languages? He's so good at them.
Okay, so there's touch, there's words of affirmation, there's service, acts of service. There's also gifts and words of affirmation.
Whatever that is. Woo! Make for sure you got your tank. Make for sure your tank is full. If it is not, please let your mate know. Let them know. Say, hey, you haven't given me, and you ain't been touching me lately. You haven't been telling me you love me. We have not been on a date night. You haven't bought me any gifts lately. And it's not that sometimes it's not that your mate doesn't want to do these things. Sometimes they just forget. Life is crazy.
Life happens. And then also for your own self, we all need our own personal time where we just fill our own tank up, where we may be reading a book. It may be doing that one thing you enjoy, by yourself. Maybe, as much as we work out together, it may be taking a jog or a walk. It may be looking at your favorite show, whatever it is. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned to Jack, hey, go out and get a manicure, pedi. And as much as I love to pamper myself, I felt like she needed that. It's like, hey, go do that. And she did.
He picked up the boys because the boys need a haircut.
Exactly.
And so we were going to go out of town. I was like, well, I can't go get my nails done and take the boys to get a haircut. He's like, I got them. I was like, really? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That
was special.
Think about this. If your tank gets empty, then how can you give and add value in your relationship?
That's right.
So you got to make sure your tank is being filled, and for yourself personally, but also it's a double dynamic, making sure your spouse is doing that as well. These are skills, y'all. These are 6 essential skills, because when trouble comes, you got to use your skills. What's happening is, Jackie, people are trying to ride off of emotion.
That's right.
And ride off of a feeling versus utilize skills. And so I think it's important, if you use these skills when trouble happens, if you listen without barriers, if you look at what your part is in the trouble, if you accept that person's differences, if you're able to make a new move and also nourish your relationship and keep your tank filled, those are all skills that help you go through trouble.
It does.
But also sustain a healthy relationship. And I think those are very important. Any last thoughts you have on those?
Family, we're just thankful that you guys tuned in tonight. And please keep us in your prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any questions or you want any answers, or if we can be of any assistance at all to you, please inbox us privately at Jackie McJimsey on Facebook or Isaac McJimsey, or we are Marriage 360 on our Facebook. Look us up, hit us up, let us know what you think about what we're doing or what's going on. If there's any topics that you'd love for us to discuss that we have not brought up, let us know.
All right, family. So Tuesday night will be at the cigar bar, Modern Cigar.
The Modern Cigar.
It's actually on Haywood Road. It's right there where City Range is. We'll be there at 8:30. Maybe get there a few minutes earlier. We'll have great fellowship, and come out for that this Tuesday. And then also want to mention that moving forward next week, we'll finish up this cycle. And we're going to be talking about making a decision, and also, what does wholehearted love look like? What does that look like? It's an amazing concept, and I do believe we're in wholehearted love, and we've had to work our way to this, and we want to stay there, because guess what, family? You can regress in a cycle and go back to the beginning stages, and so you want to keep progressing, because when you wholeheartedly love somebody, it's unbreakable. It is unbreakable. So until next time, family, we look forward to seeing you on Toast to Love.